But the caveat is don't don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable
It's that balance.
relaxing, because then, 5 goes to 4, 4 goes to 3, you start waking up later, and then all of a sudden you have a lot more fuck around time and less work time.
Yep.
So you have to keep yourself accountable, having someone to keep yourself accountable. But yeah, Sage, tell me what we're talking about today, dude. What's the topic? What are we thinking would be a good thing to elaborate on, talk about, and discuss deeper in what we think?
I'm going to be saying confidence. That's probably something that a lot of people either struggle with, they question, they misplace, put too much in themselves, not enough. It's a very diverse realm that can either be used or not used to your advantage, and honestly can either hold you back or really push you forward.
Yeah, dude, confidence is one of the things that it's such an open-ended type of emotion or a type of characteristic in a person, because sometimes it's kind of difficult to explain, because when I was younger, I was always told that I sounded kind of like douchey, like a little cocky, because I had a lot of confidence, and I may have, so there's a line of also explaining what we're confident about. If you look at a person who's just very overly confident, I've seen people at the gym that wear things that are very like they're just very confident,
and put it nicely.
And sometimes they shouldn't be, but they're very confident people. So I kind of commend that in a sense, but maybe don't be so confident in certain things. You have to kind of pick and choose what you should and what you should feel confident about. It's good in a very psychological way to be like, you should always have confidence in yourself. Yeah, that is true, but there's kind of a gray area, I think, when it comes to confidence.
Yeah, there's also, for that situation, there's like a reality type of confidence. Like, oh man, to open this can, it'd be like when a really unhealthy larger person, to say it nicely, is wearing very revealing clothing and telling themselves how beautiful they are and how good they feel and everything else. Like, I feel like that's like a very good example of misplaced confidence.
Yeah.
You really, your reality isn't reflecting what your brain is telling you. And that could be like a masking or like a coping mechanism just to make yourself feel better. You gotta be realistic with your confidence in a way, I feel.
Yeah. This is a touchy subject. We have to kind of like really be careful on what we say, because I'm glad that person feels confident in themselves.
I'm not knocking them for being happy with themselves, but
there are some times that confidence is something that's earned over time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, for instance, when you first started construction, opposed to you now, if you had to rate your confidence level on like a graph, do you think you were more confident in the beginning and now less confident now, or vice versa, or the same, or how do you feel?
I feel like it comes, I'm probably right around where I was when I first started construction. So I started construction green. I had general knowledge of how to use hand power tools, no like gas powered demo saws, anything like that. So like I wasn't an idiot going into it when it came to like using the tools, but dude, everything you had to learn, my confidence was at a probably negative point, getting thrown into a pack of fucking construction wolves basically as the main guy making the fucking crew go, and not knowing what you're doing at all except for what everybody's yelling at you to do, and you trying to have to adapt and remember this weird cycle that's being thrown at you. And it took years before I was confident enough where I could go out from the fucking trailer in the morning and be like, yeah, I should be good. Like years. Yeah. But that was very good exposure for me. That shaped me into who I am a little bit today. You know what I mean? That definitely had a big role, but I didn't just show up on the job site and be like, I'm the fucking pipe layer. This is my hole. This is my trench. We're doing it this way, blah, blah, blah. That's what Johnny wanted me to do. He wanted me to fucking just act like I own the place. And that's not who I am. I have to feel like I earned the right to be telling you that is or isn't wrong, or I want it this way. Like, because if you don't know, you don't know. And I like to stay very in touch with my actual reality when it comes to at least my confidence level, which I feel like I usually keep myself on. I'm confident with what I'm doing, especially like the concrete work, general excavation and stuff like that. But when I get into a new project, that like the last episode, that who's watching guy, I feel like he affects my comment or my confidence a little bit, because going into something new, you obviously don't want to fuck it up. You don't want to ruin a job that somebody's trusting you with. You know what I mean? You want to leave a great first impression. Hey, that guy came. He did what he had to do. He was super communicative with me. He was just a great guy, and I would love to have him back to do work. Whereas if you show up and you don't, you're just oh yeah, we just do it this way. We do it this way. You don't second guess yourself a little bit. It could lead to problems. At least that's how I think. So I like to keep that weird floating realm of confidence for me, where I keep it in check based on the reality of the situation.
Yeah. You kind of want to have 1 foot in order and 1 foot in like chaos.
Yes.
You know, where you're like,
dance the line.
Yeah, you want to be like orderly. Like, okay, there's a process to this. I understand the situation. I know we have to give them the quote first, this, that, and the other. But then there's another foot in chaos where you're kind of being somewhat experimental, learning things as you're progressing. So, and I think when you have both your feet in both realms, that's where you want to be. You don't want to be all orderly because you're not growing, and you don't want to be all in chaos because then you're strung out, man. Yeah, you're not, and you're doing things that aren't making sense, and you're probably failing and not really recording the failures that you're having, and you're not really able to monitor what you're doing and record the situation as it progresses and understand what's going on. So, I'm reading this book right now from Jordan Peterson. He talks about having 1 foot in order and 1 foot in chaos, and that kind of makes the most sense to me. Mm-hmm. And he does say when you have each foot on both ends, that's when you're growing the most. That's when you're at your sweet spot. But sometimes, some people think that they're leveled, but in reality, they're way more orderly than most people think. Most people are very safe, very conservative, very orderly.
I think drive plays a lot into that too. I think there's a couple things that kind of play into that, just besides confidence. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Somebody could be doing really well because they have a high drive and not be confident, because they're driven. Failure's not an option. They might not have the confidence for it, but they're going to keep pushing. And then there's other people that don't have a high drive, have a ton of confidence, but like you said, they play it safe all the time because they're confident in what they're doing. And it's almost like they're not going to even do as good as the guy with no confidence.
Yeah. Most people that I know are pushing the limit, They're trying new things. I try to stay away from people that are so orderly. We talked about 30, 30, 30, 30, the 30, 30, 30
yes.
rule. The people that are more orderly probably are on the other side of the spectrum opposed to the
I feel like they're pretty good 9 to 5 people.
Yeah, which is not something that is a bad thing, and they have their life scheduled and prioritized, and their house is clean and orderly, which is great, But really being able to understand both realms, if you would, is, I think, beneficial in any person, in any way of pursuing their life. It doesn't necessarily have to be real estate or working a job of some sort like that. But yeah, the book's called The 12 Rules of Life, or 12 Rules for Life, from Jordan Peterson. Very good book. I initially started reading it, thought I wasn't going to be able to read it. Very difficult to follow for me personally. Mm-hmm. In the beginning, maybe it was because I was reading it at nighttime, but the dude's so smart.
Jordan Peterson's awesome.
And you ever listen to him?
Yes, all the time.
And you'll listen to him and you're like, I'm kind of lost about what he's saying, but it sounds good, and I agree with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like,
he'll be talking about madness and then order and getting your room cleaned and and he like jumps around and then he ties it together. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, oh my gosh, dude.
Dude, like I didn't even put those two synapses firing together, and now, yeah, maybe I should have.
Yeah, but yeah, for me, when I started real estate, I had no confidence, dude.
Yeah.
Buying my first single family home, which was at auction when I was 21 years old, dude, I felt like a fish out of water. I felt like I made the right decision, but I did not know how to move forward. And thankfully, I had two people, primarily at that time, one person who was able to kind of walk me through the steps.
Yeah.
If I didn't have her, I would not have done the right thing. And even in that situation, first house I bought, first tenant I got, I had to evict. And I think you remember that, dude. It was way back when. You remember when they like threw trash everywhere? We had to like load it.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
That was the first eviction I had, first tenant I ever had. That was back.
Didn't you say they trashed the place and you were a little beside yourself because you had to put money into it right away? Or is that the...
Yeah, no, we did so much to it before they moved in.
Yes.
New carpets, new carpets, paint, light fixtures. And that was a lot for me for my first unit. You know, it's already a big step doing that. And then to rent it out to someone who destroyed it. Dude, I was at a point where I didn't know if I wanted... I'm like, dude, if this is how it's going to be every time, I don't know if I want to do this.
Yeah.
But, you know, being on that situation of order and chaos, you kind of keep pushing yourself. You say, all right, I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to change a couple things. I'm going to be a lot more intuitive on who I pick. And I'm going to be picky. You know, that's the big thing. I'm going to be picky. The next tenant I had lived there for a bunch of years. They were super nice. Spanish couple. And they lived there forever. Nice. And then a third tenant, and then I sold it. So, but yeah, man, that's something that people definitely have to work on. And you're never going to be, this is obviously easy to understand, but you're never going to be confident when you start something.
Yeah.
You're never going to be confident when you start something, unless you've already done it. But if you're starting something for the first time, you've probably never done it, so you're not going to be confident. Having someone that can kind of walk you through the path of just getting through the key points of whatever you're trying to do is very important. Don't, in my personal opinion, don't try to do something without having a blueprint of what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Unless you're like an artist or something, you know.
Yeah, you can be fucking abstract, and that's the glory of it.
But even then, dude, like artists, when they start art, like when they begin to draw and paint, they're basing their life, you know, portfolio off of inspiration that they got from other people. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting concept, and I think most people have to really think about what they want to do and then find someone who's doing it. And people that watch these types of podcasts, they probably know that, you know, but do it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, dude, how many fucking podcasts you got to watch, and how many people do you have to have tell you this for you to do? Find one person, dude. You know what I mean? It's uncomfortable. It sucks. It's shitty, but just find one person. You know what I mean? One person. Dude, they don't even have to be the best person.
I can tell you, I'm less confident running my business now than when I started, and I think that's solely for the fact that I didn't realize everything that went into it. And at first, it was kind of just like well, I know how to do the work, so what the fuck else? Like a couple papers here, a couple forms here, you know what I mean? What else? What really is there? And then you have to learn how to be a fucking accountant. You have to learn how to be the front desk person and take calls and monitor all that stuff.
And become personable.
Yeah, you have to, Luckily, I'm not a social person, dude, but the years of me going with my dad on side jobs as like a child and watching him talk to these customers and them love him, I think I picked up on like cues from him where I can flip off like a pressure when it comes to like a social situation, because now I'm business sage. I got to talk about, I got to be who that customer wants me to be. You know what I mean? Mm. And I don't know, it seems to flow well there. That usually doesn't bug me talking to people unless they want to bullshit and small talk. Then I'm like, well, if we're not talking about the job anymore, like I don't really know what else you want me to say to you. But
yeah, unless you have like a common denominator between you and that person.
It's like dirt bikes or cars or something like that. But yeah, if you just want to talk to me about the neighborhood or something, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, even though I'm not as confident as I started out, I feel like that was still the best thing I could have done. Push that. Be a little too overconfident in yourself to get started. Get into it and realize I'm in it now and there's no going back. And then you gain that confidence that is the true confidence, I feel. Because you understand, okay, well, I was courageous by doing this, and I had my back starting it, and now I'm here, and now it's not what I thought. It's a little more than I thought, but that's what I chose. That's what I'm here to do. Now we now we gotta actually earn the confidence. You got to go in with almost you almost have to go in with like self-made confidence, and then you earn the occupational or the goal-oriented confidence, the life confidence from what you did because you persevered and pushed through that stuff.
Yeah, I agree. Having the courage to begin and then having the confidence and the drive to continue.
Yes.
That's a good way of putting it, man. And the only way you're going to have the courage to start something, that's a hard topic to elaborate on.
Everybody's situation's different. Every
How do you have
point.
The courage? How do you have the courage to start something? What do you do in order to get the courage to do something? I'm gonna speak on my behalf.
Yeah.
In order to have the courage that I had to start buying real estate, was having someone who knew what they were doing to give me a blueprint, and then I also had the confidence and the courage to start because I read about it. Mm-hmm. I did a little bit of research about it. I kind of tried to understand it. You're going to be way less willing to decide to have the courage to do something if you don't do one of those two things. Like, you had the courage to start doing excavation and all that stuff because you didn't read about it, but you did it already. You know what I mean? You started. So it was an easy transition to begin because you were already somewhat you understood the concept of what you need to do beforehand. So now you just had to put on a different hat, learn some different situational, you had have more situational awareness when it comes to talking to customers and this, that, and the other. But for the most part, you had the most important part of it, So
and the crazy thing is, though, dude, if I didn't get my back broken at work and have that month to sit there and think about it, I don't know if I would have ever. It's hard to say because obviously I never lived that life and didn't push past that point where I had my back broken and I laid on a couch for a month thinking about how this is unacceptable and this should have never happened and I can't believe it and I can't wait to get back out. And am I really going back to the place that I got my back broken doing like the most safe thing I could have done compared to the risky fucking life-threatening shit that I would do on a daily basis and walked away unscathed? Like, I knew if I got my back broken doing the safe shit, my time out in the death-defying shit was very limited. Like, the universe told me that. I picked up on it. I was like, okay, maybe right now I need to come to some sort of decision because this right here could have been a lot worse. Like, if that hit me in my mid-back or my neck, dude, I might not have been walking.
Yeah, dude.
Like, I'm glad that hit me where it hit me because my hip and unfortunately, my sciatic took most of it, and it just fractured that last wing on my L5 vertebrae. And a little to the left, dude, a little more up. Like, fuck, that hit me in the back of the head. It could have killed me. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, dude. It's crazy how the universe works to try to get you to do something that may be more beneficial towards you. I went and did squats today, and I put my head underneath the bar, and I kind of I didn't know where the bar was positioned, so I kind of moved a little bit too quickly, and it just tapped the back of my neck. I was like, oh fuck, and I kind of buckled, and I'm like, dude, if that was 10 miles an hour at the back of my neck, you get severely hurt. You just it's it, dude. But yeah, and that's the thing, dude. I think it was kind of a blessing in disguise because the reason why, in my eyes, I could be wrong, but from what I'm hearing, the reason why you started doing the thing that you're doing is because you had some time to reflect on it.
Yes.
And nowadays people are so busy on the rat wheel, moving from point A to point B, from point B to point A in a circle, that they don't have time to do anything else but work, pay taxes, pay bills, eat, see how the wife's doing, this, that, and the other. And they're so busy and packed, they have no time to reflect.
Yeah.
You almost have to, and this is hard for both of us, dude. You have to make time to not do something.
That is very hard. With how much, and I feel like we can both speak on this, as much and as hard as we push ourselves, I have this weird guilt that looms over me when I'm not doing anything. Even though I know I need that time. Like, it's healthy for me to have that time where I'm just like, okay, let's just shut that fucking gear off for a second. Dude, and this is funny because I was in the car the other day and my mind always is going. And I'll think about something. I'll start beating myself up over like you're fucking cracked, dude. I beat myself up over the crack in the concrete out there. I beat myself up over that for the rest of that day. That's why I was fucking pissed off when I left here and I wasn't in a good mood because I'm like, God damn it. You might like, I know you're not going to be like, yo, motherfucker, like this is bullshit. Like, but you're my best friend and I haven't had that happen on anything really yet. I've never been called back to a job for a crack. And the amount of fucking care I put into prepping your pad, as much as I compacted it, as above and beyond as I went for all of it, and that to still happen, that really ate me to the core. Like, I was like, you motherfucker, like, what did you fuck up? Like, what did you miss? And I just replay it. And that's with everything, dude. Everything that I don't do to my level of fucking perfection or whatever that Who's Watching voice kind of is yelling at me about. The other day I was driving and it was getting to me bad. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, come on. Like, let me just drive in peace. Let me drive in peace. And I thought about it and I'm like, you know what? Like, I've been so worried and my confidence has been tested and my competence has been tested with things. And you do that enough, you don't get out of that you don't give yourself a break. And that becomes the norm, just like the person who can't make the jump, whatever, like you were referencing. And I thought to myself, I'm like, your brain is a muscle. Anything you're doing with your brain is just like working out a different muscle in there. So like, you think about it, your negativity, your fucking questioning muscle, it's like doing arms. You have your muscle that is confidence, that's leg day, you know what I mean? You can fucking shut those muscles off because you're in control of them. And I literally said to myself, like, stop working that muscle. And I cleared my fucking head. Like, that was just how I had to hear it to be able to shut that part off for a little bit. So now what I start doing, if I start getting a little bit negative and beating myself up, like, obviously I have that going all the time throughout the day, little here and there, thinking about shit all the time. But, like, if it starts accruing and I'm just thinking negative shit or like, oh, this, I fucking start getting a little mopey, I'm just like, fucking, I'm not working that out right now. Like, shut the fuck up. Stop. And that's been really helping me. As stupid as that sounds, that was just the way my brain needed to hear it and have me tell myself it to rationalize it, to like quiet it down a little bit.
Yeah, it's like there's a person in your head that you have a whole filing cabinet, like, sadness, anger, thoughts, memories. And like, there's a guy pulling and just reading through all the shit that you don't want to hear right now. And there's like, hey, Dave, what about this? What about that one job that you did this? Did you end up going back there and doing that thing? And you're like, and then you just have to command this person, just close that fucking folder, put it back in the cabinet, close that shit, and then pick another one. Like, this is what we're going to think about right now.
Yes.
Yeah. That's not easy to do, man.
Dude, I struggle with that. I struggle with that. I'm sure everybody else does, but I feel like the amount of pressure I put on myself, which I probably shouldn't, but I do because I want to succeed and I don't want to fail, that just adds up after a while, and sometimes it's hard for me to close that cabinet. And I was just really happy when I figured out that little brain trick, I guess you could say. It's not even anything like special, but just to tell myself, not working that out right now. I could understand that, and dude, it was literally like a poof, like a shut off, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, did that just work? And I was like, oh, okay, I got it. I figured you out a little bit more now, which that is cool. I'm happy about that because sometimes that voice is loud, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty deadly thing. Sometimes they could really start yelling at you, and you gotta like yell back sometimes. There was there was a situation where I deal with that a lot, and there are situations where like I'll get sick, and I'll have to be like, for instance, just recently I got hurt at work, and
Yep.
I screwed my back up a little bit. I had a week where I wasn't going to the gym, and I couldn't really do a lot of heavy, like, or even moderate pushing or pulling.
Yeah, yeah.
So when I got home, I like showered and I sat down. I had no other choice but to rest. So I had an out when it comes to doing stuff. And I realized that whole week I was journaling, I was reading, I was much more creative, I was happier, and I'm like, fuck, dude, this is like I feel mentally better because I'm doing less physical stuff.
Yeah.
I'm doing less. Now, keep in mind, this is less busy work, just shit to move around, dude. I'm like, I can't just sit there at idle. I have to like be doing something.
Yeah.
So I just like, it's important to do that, each day. Think about yourself, all the stuff that you do throughout the day. Think of it as a working day. And then think about, okay, I'm going to be done working at 5 p.m., and then stop working at 5 p.m., clock out, clock out in your head, be like, all right, I'm done work now. I've told myself I work from whenever I wake up, have my coffee. I'll even feel like I'm working then. I'll be doing stuff.
Yeah.
To 5 p.m. All right, 5 p.m., dinner time, I'm going to chill. I'm not going to do anything else. And if there is something that I think about, I'm going to only do it when I go back to work, which is 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Mm.
Even if I want to fucking do it now, even if it takes 2 seconds, do it at 7 a.m. tomorrow. You know what I mean? And that's a little bit like confrontational in a sense of, then you have less drive and you'll be able to succeed less. But I think, this is just my own personal opinion, but I think that gives you more production and it gives you more ability to succeed if you end up doing it that way. Pushing yourself to the very max every day, you're gonna get strung out, dude. You know what I mean? Giving yourself healthy times. Healthy is perspective based on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
But giving yourself an allotment of time that you're gonna be doing these things, and then actually having time to do other stuff. Being with your wife, your fiance, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever. And do those things with them, because now you're working a different part of your brain and doing things that you still have to do and to have a fulfilled life, but you're just cutting out the work aspect out of it.
It's easy to watch the work overrun every other part of your life if you're driven. That'll do it. But yeah, man, it's it's definitely rewarding to see, like, even with me and Sam and stuff, I've been really, really trying to make more time for us, because the first 2 years, dude, it was every night I was getting home 6, 7, 8, sometimes 9. And then she was at school or she was working or whatever. So we didn't really see each other too much. And the whole point of me doing this was to get off of the whole Dolly, I'm gone from fucking dark to dark routine. Even though I had that extra Friday off every week, it was still just like I didn't have any time to do anything throughout the week. So now basically I have a catch-up day or two and then one day off. Whereas doing it this way and giving yourself that healthy time, I can go home and me and her can play that Harry Potter game that she likes on Xbox, and we'll sit there and we'll play that for a while. Or we'll watch TV. I don't have a preference, so it's usually whatever she wants to watch and her shows and stuff. But it makes me feel good to know that I can be here for those times. And I do it so that, like, obviously there's late days. I'm not going to sit here and say there's not. But the majority of the time, I've been able to keep it on lock where, like, hey, I'm done working around 4:30, latest 5 if I have to take something back or run equipment or whatever. But after that, we might talk about my schedule for the week or try and do some organizing there, or maybe have to run an errand or go and pick her a dragon drink up or something like that from Starbucks. But after that, we have dinner together and we sit down and we hang out. We're there with the animals and we do whatever we can up until, I would say, up until maybe like 8:30, 9. And I've really been trying to make it a point to actually go to bed with her too, because for a while there, I was just staying up and I did it where I would allot my time all to her after work, and then once she went to bed, I'd stay up and do paperwork. Well, it's nice to go to bed with your significant other, you know what I mean? And not make them go to bed, and then you have to wake them up and get into bed at midnight when they went to bed at 9 or whatever. So, like, just figuring out that nice blend, like you said. If I have an estimate to do and it's already 5 o'clock, like, one more day ain't going to kill it because I'll have a little more time tomorrow, you know what I mean? Or I'll just wake up a little earlier. Like, me and you were always sending messages to each other at 5:30, 6 a.m., you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're up anyway. I'll just worry about that at the time where it's not inconveniencing my actual life and what I'm working for.
Yeah. But the caveat is don't get too comfortable. Don't get too comfortable
It's that balance.
Relaxing, because then, 5 goes to 4, 4 goes to 3. You start waking up later, and then all of a sudden you have a lot more fuck around time and less work time,
Yep.
So you have to keep yourself accountable, having someone to keep yourself accountable. Order and chaos, pushing yourself but not getting too orderly.
Yeah, you're going to find yourself on both ends of the spectrum before you find yourself at a good spot in the middle, I feel. Mm-hmm. At least for me, I got to see what works, and then I got to see what doesn't work. And then from there, I have my points, and I can play the fucking scale after that then. Like, I know what happens when this shit starts happening. I'm getting a little too close to the full-blown chaos, or I've been fucking around a little bit. We can pep it back up a little bit more to be a little more productive and still stay within our realm that we want. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So do you feel confident enough that come summertime that you're going to be able to hold on a second, dude. I got pause. I gotta get that bug.
That was bugging you.
That bug's fucking killing me.
He made it the whole way. He walked up and down it.
Okay, we're back.
This fucking place is infested.
This is like a cockroach. That wasn't a cockroach. It was a fucking. It was a stick bug. What were we saying, dude?
I don't know.
Oh yeah, I do remember. So, do you think you're gonna have the confidence come summertime to be able to have a balance between working, being with Sam, being with your friends, doing things with your family? Because I know summertime, everything kicks off way more. You're way busier. You're pushing yourself way harder. We're hiking. We're doing other things. Vacation. Boom, bam. You get nervous yet or what, dude?
I'm working on not letting it rattle me as much. But yeah, dude, when it comes to planning for vacations, Jesus Christ, dude, I might as well take on a job that I've never done in my life because I'll be at the same confidence level. I hate planning for vacations or traveling. I like traveling. I wish I could do it where I just had to be like, hey, I need this, 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 and this, and somebody else does all my plane shit, and I just worry about my carry-on. But I think I'll be there. There's going to definitely be times, like, I have jobs for Boss Cobbs that they want estimates for. They want a shit ton of stuff again. So I'm aiming to start this year as probably the best year financially, work-wise, that I'm going to be doing in first, like, quarter or half, third, however you would want to put it. But I know with some of these jobs and the travel time, like the Boss Cobbs job in Laureldale, that's an easy hour 10 one way with the truck and dump trailer. If I have to bring the single axle and the machines up there, hour and 25 driving down the fucking Reading Expressway. Not looking forward to it, but I mean, that's going to really be the one that pushes me to make the amount of time that I would like. That one I don't see working out as well as I would like to keep my parameters, but that's obviously a good job to have. They're a good client to have. So sometimes your perfect plan sacrifices a little bit. But after that, and I'm more local, I think I should have a pretty good hold on doing things like that, especially now that I have her helping me out with the organization and scheduling and me not having to do every single aspect of everything for my business, because obviously I have to work, and then coming home having to keep all the information organized. If I didn't have her, it would ultimately be affecting us more than it would be now. But it's nice because I get to actually pay her to be my secretary, for lack of better terms, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, me paying her helps us in life because she's a stay-at-home lady. Like, she gets to take care of the house. She gets to do whatever makes her happy, which is ultimately one of my main goals in life, is to be able to provide for her, give her the best life I can. And so far, the business has helped me conquer that. But along with that, she has the few responsibilities that she knocks out like it's fucking nothing compared to how long it would take me to do them. Mm-hmm. And she does it better. So it's just a perfect fit all around to kind of take us and make it a much more feasible life for us to live the way we want to live it, just by having her kind of take on a little bit of the responsibility.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also another key factor in confidence is the way I get the most confident is I'm constantly thinking about what I want to be confident in. For instance, if I want to have confidence, I always talk about real estate, but it's because it's like one of the biggest things in my life. But I only became confident in real estate because I constantly thought about it. Mm-hmm. You know, you constantly learn about it, you constantly think about it. The reason why you are becoming more confident in your job is because you are constantly thinking about it. You're constantly trying to figure things out between you and Sam, figuring out if, you know, she could do this, you could do that. It's a better fit for both of you, this, that, and the other. There's constant reworking, you know?
Yes.
Which is very important.
There hasn't been much stationary anything yet.
Yeah.
Everything's always moving, changing, adjusting, testing.
Yeah, I say this quote all the time, and you've heard me say it a million times, but Warren Buffett said it best. He said, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but he says, people say not to put all your eggs in one basket. He says to put all your eggs in one basket and watch the basket, you know? So put all your time, necessity, your needs, everything into one thing, whatever that thing may be, if you want to pursue it, and then focus on it, watch it, nourish it. You know, it's very hard for something to fail if you're constantly monitoring it, dude.
Yeah.
The reason why a lot of things fail, there's a plethora of things, but one of the things is you kind of let it get out of hand. You start missing the fine details. So watching it, focusing on it, thinking about it, constantly pursuing it is going to make you not fail, and in turn raise your confidence even more on that thing.
Yeah, a small win, especially for me. Like Devin actually said this, and it's something that stuck with me. He goes, "Did you hear that, man? Joe just told me good job," or something to that effect when we were working at Dolly. I was like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "That's what I needed, man. I live on attaboys." And I was like, "Yeah, dude." I was like, "You're right. When somebody tells you you're doing a good job or something like that, or if you just get a random compliment like, 'Hey, that work looks really nice,' you know what I mean? Like, that's what person can't like get a confidence boost from that? You know what I mean?
Especially if it's a person that doesn't really give out compliments very often.
Oh yeah.
Then you're like, oh,
you got like
me?
A gold nugget. Like they might as well just threw you $100, and you're just like, what?
Yeah.
No, well, not really. That'd be better. Like, give me 100. Don't fucking tell me I did a good job.
I don't know, man. Sometimes it's actually not as good.
If it's 9 a.m. and I'm already ready to fucking freak out if I was at Dolly or something like that, then yeah, give me the attaboy, because it's ultimately going to make my day actually not be a murder scene for me.
Yeah.
Covered in shit, water, and mud, putting pipe in against my will.
Yeah.
I don't miss it, dude. I don't miss it one bit. Everybody always asks me that. Do you miss being a pipe layer? You miss working? No, fuck no.
No.
Not at all.
Negative.
Not at all. I wish I could just take you on a mild day and tell you this is what I did every day, and this is a good case scenario, and see what people said.
Man, that's
Oh, dude, you want to? I don't mean to cut you off. I didn't tell you about this, but this is kind of with the confidence thing and constantly kind of expanding and testing. When me and Justin first started back in 21, he had a family member. We were going to do some work for them. They had a clogged drain pipe. We talked about getting a jet kit, which is a hose. It's got the special head on it. It's got a water jet. You hook it up to a pressure washer. It shoots out the front. And then there's ones that are aimed backwards in like 2 to 4 directions. And basically what it does is when there's a clog in the pipe, you push this jet in there. It cuts a hole through it. And then the jets behind it break everything up and loosen all of the clog. And then you basically pull it back, and that water pulls the clog with it. And it comes out the trap, or it goes into the main sewer and it clears the line. We bought this kit on Amazon, dude. We were, like I said, this was right when we started. And it had 3 jet heads, and it just hooks up to your pressure washer. It's a 75-foot hose. It sat in my garage in the original packaging because he never followed up with his family member about the job. Sat in there until this past Wednesday? Yeah, this past Wednesday when it was raining. Dylan Pottinger, he had a buddy that he does the horse work with, and I guess his sewer line was backed up. And I went over. He wanted to know because Pronto was there, and they given him some bullshit answers and stuff like that. And I was looking. First off, they installed the trap out at the road where it connects to the city main backwards, so you can't jet back up his lateral and clean it out. Like it's damn near, if somebody has a fucking tool to actually get through that sweep and keep going, let me know what it is. But it was not having it. My line's like a 1/2 inch, dude. It's nothing major, and that would not go around that sweep. So I was like, fuck, dude. I was like, I don't know how we're gonna do this. Like, I can't really tell you where your leak's at. They couldn't camera it, so he had no idea what was blocking. Blah 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 blah. And basically, he told me there's a clean out in the house, which was up in the inside piping, and the trap out at the road. And this was like a 100-foot lateral from property to where the trap was. And everywhere in between could be a problem. And we had him run his water. And this is where I feel like I shine a little bit more. Diagnosing and figuring out where the problem would be. Even though I've never been a diagnosed I've never went and diagnosed bad sewer lines and shit like that. It's just, if you understand the systems, you can understand where the realm of the problem may be at. Well, I went out at the trap. I had him run all of his sinks because he was like, yeah, they fill up pretty quick and everything backs up. Well, like 2 minutes of him running it, his sink was backed up in the second floor, or in the first floor, completely. And he shut it off, and I was like, dude, if it backed up that quick, it's got to be like right here. Right outside the property, and he has a deck right there. I was like, we might have to fucking pull the deck up. Like, we can cut the pieces on the inside, try and clean it out. Like, there's ways to go about it, but if you have a broken pipe, it's not settled, it could be a sticky situation. It could be a pain in the ass. And like I said, I couldn't camera. I couldn't do anything. I don't have that stuff, and Pronto couldn't get their camera in. So I was like, what I can do is I can jet the system, and we can see if that works. Dude, I don't sell myself and shit I've never done usually, but like, it was a friend of a friend. So I was like, you know what? If I can help him out, I'll help him out. So I probably did it for cheaper than what I should have, but for $250, I was like, I'll come out, dude, with my pressure washer and my little jet kit, and we'll see if we can't clear your pipe up. He's like, yeah, I mean, that's fine with me. Pronto was getting him thousands of dollars in estimates and stuff immediately.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they were like, oh, a clogged drain, we can't get it. You got to replace everything. You know, that's what those fucking big companies do. They don't put the time into actually trying to figure out your problem. Oh, well, this doesn't work. Okay, you need a whole new sewer line. And they would have probably charged him like $20,000 for that whole run, which it wasn't needed. But basically, as we were leaving, and you were the one, I think, or no, I said this to you, the Bloodhound for Utilities thing.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I was walking out of the house, down his yard to leave. Like, I was like, all right, bud, yeah, I'll come back. We'll try and see what we can do, but no promises. And I looked in his yard, and I was like, I know it rained recently, like real recently, but like Why does that one fucking spot have water in it? And he was just running his sinks. Dude, the middle of his yard, there was a lateral stack that was cleaned off by a mower or something like that. The whole stack was filled with dirt down into the tee, and I could see the water like bubbling up past it. And I was like, yo, I called him out. I'm like, you have a clean out right here, because he told me he didn't have any other clean outs. And I found it very weird that in a 100-foot sewer lateral, you shouldn't have a clean out any less than 50 feet in between. And I was looking, because I just was like, this doesn't make fucking sense why they'd only put a trap out there and nothing in between. This is long. We found it. I came back later that night. I had him shovel around the clean out sweep, or the clean out stack. Luckily, the line was only about 2.5, 3 foot deep. It was all soft dirt. So we shoveled all that out. The stack for the sewer lateral, whoever put it in, didn't even... they didn't glue it or anything. I was able to pull it right out, which is a huge no-no. The whole thing was filled with dirt. There was a softball pushed down the sewer lateral. Good. There was a plastic piece of, like, somebody took like a 4-inch like flower pot. And I think that what their attempt was when they broke the ladder, he just bought this house like 2 months ago. He's fixing it up and doing shit. So he's finding out problems left and right. I think what the original people did was they put the flower pot in the top of the sewer line, and it had a little lip, and it sat on there, and then they put a softball in it to like weigh it down and like hold it in there in case the wind tried to blow it out. Well, I think they ran over it, didn't know, pushed it down the sewer stack, and it was blocking the whole tee, like at the bottom where the line ran.
Yeah.
We pulled that, got that out. I pulled the plastic out after I pulled the fucking softball out, and it was still blocked. And I was like, dude, when I say the whole stack was filled with dirt, it was solid. Like, there was a lot of dirt in this line. And the thing that was fucked was I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I was very clear with the homeowner about this, because his trap was backwards. If I pushed all that dirt down the line and it clogged in his trap, I can't get the jet up there to pull it out. Yeah. Like, and still, after we did everything, I told him that's still reality, but like he was tickled pink, dude. I was there for like 2.5 hours with my little jet kit, and I fucking cleared that whole 100-foot line. I had all 75 feet down it, and I could only get, when I first started, I could only get maybe 18 or 19 feet, because you'd hit and you mark it with your thumb, and you pull the whole line out, and then you take your thumb and you put that down right in line with where you stopped on the ground, and you lay it out. And you can see how long or how far down the line you actually got with it, and see if you're making improvement each time, because it's kind of hard unless you put tape on the line to see if you're making improvement. Well, dude, there was the one head on it, I call it the turbo head now. It's the only one that doesn't have a front-facing cutting blade, like a cutting hole in it. It all comes backwards, but it's a bronze collar or a brass collar, and it spins, dude. So when the water hits it, it goes... Dude, it sounds fucking gnarly. That thing was the best. I tried that head last because I thought it wasn't going to work as well because it didn't have the front cutter. And, dude, it was insane. Like, you could hear that thing going down the line like it was a fucking turboed car down like a drag strip.
Jeez.
And every time you'd do a pass, you'd pull it back. You'd do a pass, you'd pull it back, and you could just feel it getting farther and farther, because the other two heads, dude, I got to a point where I was like, dude, I'm not making progress here. And I guess what I'm trying to get at with the whole confidence thing and stepping in that weird half on, half off chaos and calm, I didn't know what I was doing 100%. Like I said, I'm not a sewer line jetter, but I've been around a ton of them that they've done on sewer lines when I worked at Dolly with like the big trucks with like 2-inch fucking hose and stuff. So I knew the technique to do it. So just applying that knowledge to my small scale job that I had here. And I knew there was no harm, no foul. If I came out, I couldn't do it. I was very clear if I didn't know if this was going to work. But now I know that I can, with what my setup now, and even if I spend a little bit more money and maybe get a couple different heads or get a little bit upgraded of a setup, dude, for $500, like, I could come out and charge that as a service. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just make easy money where I'm not digging. I'm not fucking hauling stuff. I show up with my pickup truck, my pressure washer, and my jetting tools, and I can service people's sewer lines with like small clogs and leaks and shit like that, and just make rainy day money. Like, I'll go out in the rain and do that, put a fucking rain jacket on, go out there with my pressure washer. I'm already going to be covered in shit water. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, especially like if a customer decides to have you out for an excavation job because, they had a different company come out and they said that they need to be, there's a pipe that needs to be replaced, when in reality they just need a unclogged.
Yeah.
You could definitely be that person and be like, well, I don't think you need this replaced. I think it just needs to be, cleared out. And we do offer that service. It's this much money for this many feet or whatever, who knows.
Yeah, and I mean, you could still say, like, I don't know if this is going to solve it. Like, unless you have a camera footage showing what the problem is, you know what I mean? We can only go off of what we're trying. But yeah, I thought that was that gave me a little bit of confidence. Obviously, I shouldn't say everybody. I feel good when I go somewhere. I test that confidence. I test my competence, and I do everything that I needed to do, and I push through the task, and the customer's happy, and I'm happy that I helped the customer because they thought they were going to spend thousands. Like that, I walked away with my head held high on that one.
Yeah.
And those are good feelings, especially when you're not 100% going into it, because even though I told him, like, hey, dude, I don't know if this is going to work, that, to me, like, it still has to fucking work. Like, if I don't fix it, I'm going to feel like I didn't fucking do something right.
Yeah.
And that's going to eat at me. So pushing that confidence barrier where you're not confident, you are confident, the drive, all of it, I think, plays into just the whole positivity, success, and good, like, healthy confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Absolutely, dude. Everything that you say, I agree with, man. It's just a matter of instilling that type of mental framework into someone over time. And the only way that they could do that is by having little wins each day and pursuing that avenue of what they want to do in a progressive way, whatever that progressive may be. You don't want it to be too far left, too far right, but in a way where you're on both sides, pushing yourself continuously. You could have moments like that, but if you're way too conservative and you're way too safe, it's going to be difficult, and you're not going to succeed as much, and you're probably going to be resentful of people that are in the line of business that you're in that are far succeeding you in a shorter amount of time.
Yeah.
You become resentful, and then that will ultimately be your demise.
I feel like that's a hard one to catch too, because you're not going to be. A lot of people don't want to attack their own self-confidence. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, oh, well, this fucking company they're doing better than me because they have better guys than me, or they have better equipment, or they have this, or they got these jobs. You know what I mean? It could come down to the level of confidence between the people running it. Like, if Jack is way more likely to say, yeah, we can do that job for you, and he doesn't fully get it, but he's got the idea of it. Usually, there's not many things that can be unfucked if they get fucked.
Yeah.
Might take a little bit extra money, but you get that small loss under your belt and that fix under your belt as the win. That's ingrained in you after that. It's just kind of it's going to definitely up your likelihood to succeed and thrive as somebody running a business.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Absolutely, dude. Confidence is a key factor that most people need to. Most people don't have enough, and there is a limit. You can't have too much. So, it's definitely a folder in the filing cabinet that most people don't have very many papers involved in that. So you have to kind of beef that up a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't make that your only priority, but it's a key factor in success in life. And especially in the business that you're trying to pursue, you need to have confidence, So that's a major factor in success is having the confidence and the drive to keep the needle moving forward,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I would 100% agree, dude.
Anything else?
As far as confidence goes, push yourself, test your limits, don't test too much, find that healthy balance. Dial in the chaotic fucking life that we gotta wrangle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just don't give up, dude. Confidence, have it. Don't abuse it. Yeah.
Confidence is a emotion, a feeling, a characteristic that is only going to be able to be used as long as you're willing to utilize it. So you have to utilize it. Become confident in yourself. In time, that confidence will grow, and you'll be able to manage it the best way you possibly can.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
I think that's it. That's a wrap on this Dig Deep podcast.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. Appreciate everyone that's been listening so far. Soon enough, I think we'll have some type of social media, some type of way that you guys can contact us, and maybe ask us some questions. Maybe we can talk about it, answer some questions on the podcast, and
I'm anxious for that.
Yeah,
feel involved, feel connected with everybody.
Yeah, soon
enough. That's why we're doing this, man. We hope to be able to help.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for watching and listening, and keep digging deep.